You're watching GW News Recap. I'm your anchor, Azin Jamir. This is a segment where we bring the top stories of the week. Let's have a look at the headlines first. In a tragic monsoon-related incident, 2 brothers were killed while their mother injured when a landslide and retaining wall collapse struck their rented residence at Upper Pinli Ward, Mokokchung on July 29. In a major anti-narcotics operation, Dimapur police have arrested 5 alleged members of an interstate cocaine trafficking network linked to an organized drug syndicate operating across 3 states and involving a Nigerian national. A new political party, the Unified Covenant Party, was launched at Pate village in Chumukitima district on August 1st, with its leaders pledging to promote corruption-free, value-based politics and electoral reforms in Nagaland. An amended law that empowers states to set up fast-track courts for speedy trials of accused and enhanced punishment in public examination question paper leak cases has received the assent of President Tripaldi Murmu. Nirmal means Thai Burja, the legendary Nepal-born mountaineer who climbed all 14 of the world's 800-meter peaks in a record 6 months and 6 days, has been confirmed that after an avalanche struck his expedition on Pakistan's Port Peak. Now let's have a look at the news in details. 2 brothers, sports students of Queen Mary Higher Secondary School, Mokokchung, were killed while their mother was injured after a landslide and retaining wall collapse struck a rented house at Upper Pinli Ward above the Sanctum Baptist Church pastor's residence in the early hours of July 29. The incident occurred between 12:30 a.m. and 1 a.m. when the landslide severely damaged the rented house occupied by a family from Alisupur village. The mother and her 2 sons were trapped under the debris. Residents immediately launched rescue efforts while personnel from the State Disaster Response Force and the subdivisional police officer joined the operation. The mother was rescued alive and shifted for medical treatment. However, despite several hours of rescue efforts carried out amid persistent rainfall, the bodies of the 2 brothers were recovered at around 5:30 a.m. The deceased were identified as Mualong Sangtam, 19 years, a class 12 student, and Tritipa Sangtam, 16 years, a class 11 student of the same school of Alisupur village. In a major anti-narcotics operation, Dimapur police have arrested 5 alleged members of an interstate cocaine trafficking network with links to an organized drug syndicate operating across the 3 states and involving a Nigerian national. During the operation, police seized around 33 grams of suspected cocaine. A case has been registered at West Police Station under the provisions of the Narcotic Drugs and Psychotropic Substances Act 1985. The arrested accused have been identified as Tohuka Sema of Dimapur, Yeka Aumi, who was arrested in Pune, Biresh Kumar and Akhtar Hussain, both arrested in Delhi, and Swanteba Inka, who is believed to have acted as a delivery agent. According to police, the arrests are part of an ongoing investigation into an organized interstate drug trafficking syndicate. Authorities are probing the network's interstate links and its alleged connection to a Nigerian national as efforts continue to identify other individuals involved. A new political party, the Unified Covenant Party, was launched at Pate village in Chumukitima district on August 1st, with its leaders pledging to promote corruption-free, value-based politics and electoral reforms in Nagaland. UCP President Chopin Nie Zo, a retired senior commandant of the CISF, said the party was brainchild of the Change Over Initiative Nagaland, a group of Naga intellectuals and religious members concerned of the state's socio-political condition. Zo said the party was formed to bring about systematic change by tackling corruption, which he described as rooted in the practice of vote buying. He alleged that candidates spent huge sums during elections and subsequently seek to recover those expenses through the misuse of public funds. Calling for electoral reforms, Zo urged civil society organizations and churches to educate voters against accepting money in exchange for votes. He said the party would work towards electing God-fearing leaders committed to integrity and public service. Zo clarified that UCB had no plans to align with any other political party and would function independently while adhering to its faith-based principles. UCP has adopted the myrtle flower as its party symbol. Zuo said the symbol represents peace, love, righteousness and restoration, adding that it was inspired by a spiritual vision experienced by his daughter and also holds biblical significance. The center handed over the probe into the July 13 explosion at Kopanala in Nagaland's Chumukitima district, which killed an Assam Rifles Havildar and injured 4 other personnel to the National Investigation Agency. The suspected improvised explosive device, believed to have been concealed in an auto rickshaw parked along the road, exploded as an Assam Rifles convoy passed through the area. Nagaland police said the Union Home Ministry, in a communication dated on July 27, had directed the NIA to take over the case registered at Chumukitima police station, citing the gravity of the offence and its implications for national security. The centre said the case involved a scheduled offence under the National Investigation Agency Act 2008. Exercising its powers under Section 6, Clause 5, read with Section 8 of the Act, it directed the Counter-Terrorism Agency to assume charge of the investigation. The Nagaland government and state police will coordinate with the NIA to complete the legal formalities for transferring the case. The number of people affected by floods in Assam dropped to 1,78,837, offering some relief even as the number of affected districts increased from 5 to 7. The Disaster Management Authority reported no deaths during the previous 24 hours, leaving the overall flood death toll in the state unchanged at 82. Despite the improving trend, the Dikho River, now Sivasakar, and the Tansri South River at Numalikar in Kolhagat district continued to flow above the danger level. Flood conditions persisted in Kolhagat, Sivasakar, Charaidio, Pachali, Dimaji, Sonitpur and Chohat, affecting 20 revenue circles and 349 villages. While the affected population declined from 1.92 lakh, flooding spread to 2 additional districts. Jaraidio continued to record the highest number of affected residents at 75,199, followed by Sivasakar with 58,824. People still facing the impact of the floods. Relief operations remained in progress with government agencies and disaster response teams continuing assistance in the affected areas. The ASTMA said 44 relief camps were housing nearly 15,000 displaced people, while 17 relief distribution centers were supplying essential assistance to 5,569 people. The impact on agriculture also continued, as about 15,060 hectares of farmland remained underwater. Livestock losses were also reported, with 1,543 animals swept away and another 6,765 affected by the floods. Authorities are also assessing the overall impact of the floods, with residential buildings, road infrastructure, preachers, educational institutions and livestock shelters among the assets reported to have suffered damage in the affected districts. An amended law that empowers states to set up fast-track courts for speedy trials of accused and enhanced punishment in public examination question paper leak cases has received the assent of President Draupadi Murmu. In a Gazette notification, the Law Ministry said President Murmu has given her assent to the Public Examinations Prevention of Unfair Means Amendment Bill 2026 after it was cleared by both houses of Parliament earlier this week. Now, investigations into paper leak cases are to be completed within 2 months. According to the legislation, individuals involved in paper leaks or unfair means in exams will get jail terms for a minimum of 5 years and a maximum of 10 years and a fine of up to Rs 50 lakh. For organized crimes, the amended law proposes a minimum sentence of 7 years and a fine of up to Rs 10 crore. The government pushed for an early passage of the bill by Parliament amid massive protests here and in other parts of the country by students against the NEET 2026 paper leak. The new law amends a 2-year-old act by enhancing fines and imposing stricter punishments on paper leak convicts. The law outlines 15 legal acts, including leaking question papers, tampering with OMR sheets, creating fake websites and issuing fake admit cards. The 2024 law was brought in when the government faced raging paper leak controversies. Before the 2024 legislation, there was no specific substantive law to deal with unfair means adopted or offences committed by various entities involved in the conduct of the public examinations by the central government and its agencies. The previous act aimed to prevent unfair means in public examinations conducted by the Union Public Service Commission, the Staff Selection Commission and the Railways, Banking, Recruitment Examinations and the National Testing Agency, among others. Under the amended law, all the states and UTs will be directed to set up fast-track courts which will complete the trial within 3 months of filing of the charge sheet. Nirmal Neemstai Purja, the legendary Nepal-born mountaineer who climbed all 14 of the world's 8,000-meter peaks in a record 6 months and 6 days, has been confirmed dead after an avalanche struck his expedition on Pakistan's Broad Peak. Purja, 43, was confirmed dead by his expedition company, Elite Exped, ending a 2-day search operation after the avalanche swept a group of climbers down the 8,047-meter mountain on July 30. The company also confirmed the deaths of Purja's climbing partners and guides, Pur Bahadur Kurong, known as Yukta, and Nima Sherpa. Other members of the expedition were also killed in the avalanche. Nepal Prime Minister Palendra Shah paid tribute to Purja and his fellow climbers killed on Broad Peak. In a post, Shah said mountaineering was not merely about reaching a summit but represented courage, discipline, sacrifice and indomitable confidence to challenge human limits. It must be mentioned that the Broad Peak is on the Karakoram mountain range, straddling the border between Gilgit, Baltistan, Pakistan and Xinjiang, China, just a few kilometers away from K2 in what is Pakistan-occupied Kashmir. The avalanche struck along Broad Peak's standard West Ridge route. This would be at an altitude between 21,600 and 21,850 feet. Well, viewers, that's it for this week's news recap. And for more news like this, you stay connected to Global Window.